Happy Monday, Terry. We're going to do some Parx racing today eventually. I was telling you before we got on, I was ahead of pace, and then somehow I got behind pace. I don't know how that works sometimes. Like sometimes I think the clock plays tricks on you sometimes. Instead of going 1 minute at a time, it goes 3 or 4 minutes at a time.
And you're going to find the older you get, the more that happens.
Yes. Well, I think you and I will both agree under some recent life circumstances, it just puts into perspective how fast time goes by.
That's true. Absolutely.
Indeed. So hopefully we can pick up where you left off on Thursday, Terry, with a nice pick 4 at Del Mar to close out the weekend. Yeah. And along with that pick 4, he also had a nice box it up winner. So today at Parx, we'll see if we can do the same. Although I think it's going to be a challenging card today at Parx because you've got a lot of horses, a lot of races, and a lot of competitive races, it looked like to me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that totally. So.
And the track is fast, but for some reason they're off the turf despite the fact that it's sunny and warm in Philadelphia today. Not quite sure why they came off the turf, but they did indeed. So that last race on the card was supposed to be 7.5 furlongs on the turf. Instead, it's going to be moved to 1 mile on the dirt track. So it should be a interesting race to say the least. It should be. Again, I think it's going to be a very competitive card. We better get cracking right away because my best bet is in race number 1, Terry. Before we go on to race number 1, let me do something here real quick, Terry. Race number 1. Race 1. Boom. Put that on the banner down there. Race 1 at Parx is a 5.5 furlong maiden claiming $10,000 race for a purse of $26,000, Terry. And if we take a look at the 5.5 furlong races at Parx this year, there have been 81 of them, 61 by speed, 39 of which went wire to wire. Post position does have an outside to inside bias with posts 1 through 3 being penalized. And let's take a look at my telestrator here, Terry.
All right.
You see here the 4 horse is a horse that has a pretty strong early pace advantage, both at the 2 furlong marker. So he's got a 5-point advantage at the 2 furlong marker and a 10-point advantage plus at the 4 furlong marker. Should just really run away from this race. And then you have the 1 and the 5 being what I call left arrow horses. These are horses that should be closer to the pace than what their racing style suggested in the past. So for me in race number 1, Terry, I'm going to start with my best bet right away. That is indeed the 4 horse. That horse is We Got a Guy. If he goes at 2-1 or higher, then I think something's probably wrong with this horse. As I mentioned, the 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers say he has an enormous edge and really should be an easy winner. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I like number 4 as my first pick. We Got a Guy. He likes to go to the front, and he finished 3rd versus similar in his last race, doing exactly that at 6 furlongs. Now he cuts back to 5.5 furlongs. I think that's going to help. Switches to a high percentage winning jockey and has the highest last speed rating, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. And as my second choice, number 3, World Regard. He has the highest last speed rating. He's actually tied with We Got a Guy. And the trainer wins 25% of the races in maiden claiming events. Number 6 is my third pick, Sweet Parry. Parry. He ran 2nd versus similar in his last race, and jockey Andy Hernandez is in the irons. And then number 8 is my 4th pick, Ducky Goose. He will be closing at the end, as he's done in the past, finishing 3rd twice.
Is that a play on the Duck, Duck, Goose game? I don't know. Ducky, Goose. I guess it has to be somewhat of the same, right?
Yeah.
All right. For me in race number 1, as I mentioned, I feel like the 4 horse should make easy work of this field. If not, Duke of Wells is a first-time starter in here that doesn't really have a whole lot to beat, in my opinion. The workouts are iffy, but all the others have had many chances to win and haven't gotten the job done. So we don't know what Duke of Wells will bring to the track today. World Regard has the top late pace numbers in the field and should be among the leaders of the horses that are chasing the 4. So you'll have the 4 out here, everybody else behind. The 3 will be the front runner or one of the front runners in that group. And finally, number 1, Gavilan, lightly raced left arrow horse. So that means its pace figure should put him closer to the front. The rail really sucks at this distance, but early pace should put him in the mix. Just needs more endurance. in his second start after a layoff. Interesting that we don't really have a lot of agreement once we get past the 4-horse in the first race there, Terry.
Yeah, it's true.
Race number 2 is a 7 furlong claiming $7,500 non-winners of 3 lifetime with a nice purse here of $32,000. The profile of a 7 furlong Parx winner so far, 136 races, even 100 were won by horses that were in the first 3 at the first call, 45 of which led the fields from gate to wire. As far as the post positions are concerned, it is mostly a fair distance, slight bonus for posts 2 and 3, and a small discount if you're wearing a 4 through 7. Everything else is pretty fair. And again, if we try to take a look at what the pace might look here, we don't really have any left arrow horses. What we have are a lot of boxes, Terry. Mm-hmm. And the boxes are horses that should get pace figures that are comfortable with where they like to be. So the 5, the 1, the 8, and 6. The one horse that does appear to have a little bit of an advantage, not an overwhelming advantage, is the 7 horse. Does have a 5-point late pace advantage over the rest of this crew. So I think this is going to be a fairly competitive race and a few horses that can probably get it done. How do you see it?
Yeah, I agree with you. I like number 6, my first choice, Rudy Rod. He comes in after competing at Aqueduct and drops in class today. He switches to high percentage winning jockey, who in the last 7 days has won 4 out of 8 starts and has the highest. The horse has the highest last speed figure at today's distance. And then number 2 is my second choice, Don't Break the Law. He won his last race at Parx Racing, switches to a high percentage winning jockey, and he drops in class today.
That used to be a bad idea, don't break the law, but nowadays I wonder.
Yeah.
It seems like you get away with a little bit more these days. Maybe that's why I'm wearing prison orange today for the HRT gear. I don't know.
I think they get away with a lot more today. But anyway, number 7 is my third pick, Lawlessness, which has to do with Don't Break the Law. He finished 3rd versus similar in his last race, does well at today's distance, and he likes Parx Racing. And then number 1, Catch My Vibe. He ran 2nd versus similar in his last race, only losing by a neck, and has the highest last speed rating.
So race number 2, I'm going to go with the good advice of do not break the law. Won his last start despite a very bad start. Rough trip. That was in the comment section. Despite all that, ran a better 6.5 furlong time. So maybe if he doesn't have a bad start, rough trip, he might even be faster today. Number 6, Rudy Rod. This drop for Linda Rice makes absolutely no sense to me, Terry. Was running at the NYRA circuits for allowance $50,000. Was claimed for $40,000. Now is running for a $32,000 purse. Claiming price is $7,500. Despite better 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers last out and better fractions, on paper should really live up to that 6-5 morning light odds and probably going to be under 1-1. But it just doesn't make any sense to me. Why not run it from claiming 30, claiming 40? Some higher claiming price than $7,500. I know the purse is there, but it just something doesn't smell right to me. Number 7, Lawlessness, does have a small plus late pace advantage. I think this one's likely to be better in the second start off a layoff and the second start with trainer Scott Lake, which is a 22% angle for a 16% trainer. I call that an alpha angle. Finally, number 5, Last Investment, was the favorite last out, was beaten. Trainer Mario Dominguez does come back to win the next time out with the public choice that disappoints at 30%. So that's a pretty good number there for Mario Dominguez. Race number 3, Terry, we have something special for race number 3. You know what it is?
Yeah, it's my long shot against your long shot. Last time that happened, I won.
Well, you have to win eventually, right? I can't win them all. Isn't that what they say? I think I'm like I got 144 to 3. Of course, you remember the 3. I remember the 144.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So race number 3 is a 5.5 furlong race claiming 7,500 non-winners of 1 in the last year, a purse of $31,000. Again, just a quick recap of the profile of a winner for 5.5 furlongs. You got to be fast. You want to be on the outside more than the inside if possible. And 1 through 3 get penalized, Terry. Our telestrator looks like this for race number 3. And in race number 3, we do have a left arrow horse here with the 9 horse, which is a pressure closer type, meaning it can run close to the front. It can be towards the back. So it's going to be able to have a little bit of versatility based upon the pace. And this one could be a little bit of quickness to it, because you see over here, as far as the field is concerned, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horses are considered, so a little bit more than half the field, either early pace, so they want to be on the lead to win, or early pace or right off the lead. So if they all go pretty fast, the 9 horse can sit back. And if it goes too slow, he can go forward. And if it goes way too fast, the 4 horse does have a little bit of a late pace advantage, a 5 point, so it gets the plus mark here. Fast pace would definitely set up something special for the 4 horse. Tell us why you think your horse is going to beat my horse in this battle of long shots.
All right. The number 2, Sizzling Roma. She ran second versus similar in her last 2 races at Parx Racing and has a high percentage winning jockey, Frankie Pendleton, who I like a lot, who in the last 7 days has been in the money 5 out of 10 times, winning 3 of those. And then I like your long shot, number 9, Kawaja Time. She won her last race at Parx Racing and has the highest last speed rating. Then I like number 3, Captain Sam. She should improve while returning to dirt, drops in class today, and has the highest speed figure at today's distance. And then number 4, my 4th pick, is Boca Royalty. He likes the track, winning 5 races and the distance.
For me, as I mentioned, I like Kawaja Time as my top pick. He's a left arrow horse, and one with the top last race speed figure. Likes the in the money in short sprints. Has run the 5.5 furlong 6 times, a win, 3 seconds, and a third, and was much better across the board last time out in terms of pace figures. Your top choice, Sizzling Roma, third off the bench, better 2 and 4 furlong fractions last time out. 3 consecutive speed figure increases. Number 1, this round's mine, essentially all or nothing at Parx, ran 10 times, 3 wins with a third mixed in there. Resume says that there could be major improvement at hand in the second race off a break. And then finally, number 4, Boca Royalty has a plus late pace edge, about 5-6 points over everybody else. And the front runners really aren't going to get that far away from Boca Royalty, which means if they do go too fast and he's not all that far behind, has a really good chance to close out the show here in race number 3. Race number 4 is a 7 furlong, claiming $7,500, non-winners of 3 lifetime for a purse of $32,000. 7 furlongs, the first time today we're going to see this distance. We'll see it a few more times. 136 races. I think we did see it already in race number 2, right? 100 of which were won by speed. 45 of the 136, taking them from gate to wire. You get pretty fair post position here, Terry. It doesn't really matter. A little bit of a bonus if you wear a 2 or 3. A little bit of a discount 4 through 7, but really no deal killers in any way, shape, or form. Our telestrator for race number 4, we get our first scratch of the day with this is not, it was the next race. I made a mistake here. The number 3 horse is one that's going to get a pace that fits. Got to like that for a pressure horse. The 6 horse is a late pressure closer that does have the early pace to put him near the lead. It also has you see the plus mark here with the 4. It has a 5-point advantage, I think a little bit more than that, at the 4 furlong mark. So the 6 horse is the one that probably should be on the lead once they get about a half mile into the race. And the 1 horse here on the way home does have a plus mark in there too. So he does have a little bit extra late kick relative to everybody else, Terry. And this one here is your box it up for race number 4. So in a box it up, Terry, this is where we take 4 horses, put them together in an exacta box, trifecta box, and superfecta box. Tell us why you like these 4 horses.
Well, this is a really wide open race, and I think there's going to be some good prices coming in here. So I like the number 5. It's my first pick, Raven Rocks. He switches to high percentage winning jockey, who in the last 7 days been in the money 7 out of 12 times, winning 3 of those. And then I like number 6, Alpha's Candyman. He drops in class today and has a couple of wins at Parx Racing, so you know he knows what the track's like. Number 3 is Perfect Revenge. He has a trainer who wins 17% of the time in the second race after a layoff, and he has the highest speed figure at today's distance. And then I like number 2, Kirkerland. He has early speed and which will help his chances in jockey Andy Hernandez is in the irons.
All right. So in me for race number 4, Terry, I like the 2-horse as my top pick. That's, and I felt like when I looked at this race, Terry, this one was probably one of the more difficult ones for me. But Kirkland, the 2-horse, your last pick, my first pick, where you stop, I start. Has an early pace, showed better 2 furlong fractions last out, and gets a weight break. I think the weight break might be what gets the job done here. Maybe able to hold that speed much longer. And when Kirkland's able to hold the speed into the stretch, it becomes very difficult to pass. Number 9, 2 Princess. That's you and I, Terry, for sure. Did run the top last race speed figure last time, which included some better fractions. Missed by just 3/4 of a length. Better running second half mile of the race. So horse definitely showed some improvement once it got past the first half mile. Number 3, Perfect Revenge, is making a second start off a layoff. Last time the horse ran a 2-race cycle, there was a major upgrade in inning number 2. Was better early in the race last time out and late in the race last time out, but not by a significant margin. So I'm calling that an easy Z pattern. And then finally, number 6, Alpha Candyman, left arrow horse. It is a pressure closer type, takes a drop in class, had much better 2 and furlong pace numbers in its last race with better fractions, despite going 1 mile longer. And I really fear that 6-horse here, Terry, in this spot with the left arrow horse with the better fractions, longer distance. I see a lot of times those horses do pretty well. Salty race 9 starter. Today, you have one today. Is that your horse today? Race 9, Salty, Tim? For us today for me, I did my hot dog pick for Terry starting in race 1 because I really do feel like that 4-horse should make really easy work of that field. So I'm going to go race 1, the 4, the 2, the 6, the 7 in race 2, race 3, the 9, the 2 to 1, and race 4, the 2, 9, 3, and 6. So I'm doing a little bit different. That first race is coming up, so make sure you mark that down on your wherever you mark it down, like Terry's marking it down right now. Next race is race number 5. And race number 5, it is a 6 furlong maiden claiming $2,500 for a purse of 40 grand, Terry. At 6 furlongs so far, the profile of a winner, 193 races, 73 of which were won by horses that tend to be towards the front in the first 3 at the quarter-mile marker. 69 of the 193 went wire to wire. That almost doesn't make sense to me. I must have messed a number up there. There's a rail discount. Rest of the post positions are close to fair. This race for me, Terry, is my box it up in race number 5. And I had put race number 5 up here. Race number 5, we do get the first scratch of the day. The 4 horses out of the race. You do have the 7 and the 10 being left arrow horses. They're pressure horses, but the early pace is probably going to put them on the lead. You could see the negative signs next to him. Those aren't really negative signs. It just means the horses are running at the same level that they ran last time out for the maiden claimers. You have a whole host of first-time starters over here. So with those first-time starters, you just don't know what you're going to get out of any one of these. So this race is absolutely wide open, Terry. I feel like you'd agree with me on that.
I will.
And since it is absolutely wide open, I'm going to make it my box it up. I'm going to start with number 7, Turby. I just like the name. Wasn't that the name of like the Volkswagen? It was Herbie back in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah, it was Herbie, I think.
Herbie. They don't make movies like that anymore, do they?
No, they don't. Yeah.
But anyway, Turby was much better in career race number 2, especially the second half of the race. Should challenge for the lead here today. Number 5, Destination Speed. I think this one's the top first-timer in my view. Decent park workouts. Trainer Guadalupe Presadio hits at 24% with first-time starters. Number 2, Alwajd. I think I'll go with that, Terry. Second best first-time starter, strong workouts at Monmouth Park, getting ready. So I don't know if that's considered a track drop or not because you're working out at Monmouth, but you're racing at Parx. And then finally, number 1, Imaginism. This is a horse that did show some better effort in the second part of its last race, should improve in its second start off a break, and it was a really tough call for me, honestly, over the 9-horse La Regalada. which I think is where you're going to start with the La Regalada, Terry.
That's correct. I like that horse because she ran second in 3 races in a row at Parx Racing now. Tried the turf, didn't take to it, and now she's returning to the dirt, which she seems to like better. She has a high percentage winning trainer, and her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. Number 7, Turby. It's my second pick. She ran second versus similar in her last race, has a trainer who wins 25% of the time in maiden claiming races. Number 3 is my third pick, Cup of Life. She has finished in the money in 80% of her races at Parx Racing. Has a trainer-jockey combination in the last 14 days. Have been in the money 3 out of 5 times, winning 2 of those. And then I like number 1, Imaginism.
Imagine something.
Yeah, she finished third versus similar in her last race and has a trainer who wins 18% of the time in sprint races.
All right, so that wraps up the first 5 races. It gets us halfway through the card. Time for a little bit of a breather, Terry. Talk a little bit about something else that's been very profitable besides your late pick 4 last week. The Professor has been very profitable with his baseball plays. So if you're going to bet a little bit of baseball action tonight, the play of the day for the Professor is the Dodgers. Life has been good for the Professor when the Dodgers are favored by his model. And this is the best spot of the night. Teams playing on Sunday night baseball haven't looked good, and I'm still convinced the Giants are good. Logan Webb is solid, but the gap between him and Haney isn't big enough to overcome the advantages the Dodgers have in this one. Sorry, Terry. Lay the short number with the Dodgers tonight as they take game 1 of this rivalry series. And as you can see here, the play of the day history, 45 wins, 27 losses, 2 ties, up 15 units for an 18% ROI. There is a link for the pick for the Professor's play of the day in our description here on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitter. And there's also a link to today's YouTube show where the Professor Sides puts in all of his picks on the Major League Baseball card, lets you know his thoughts and angles for every single thing. And as I mentioned, he's done pretty good with that, Terry. So when you go there, make sure you please hit him up in the comment section. Let him know Horse Racing Today sent you and be rowdy. Right, Terry?
That's correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Then while you're here on YouTube, do us a kind favor. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. Same thing goes for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can follow us at Horse Race, the number 2 day, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Our Swiss Army Sean will keep you up to speed with all sorts of stuff. Sean does a fantastic job on social media, Terry. No question about that. All right, race number 6, Terry, is a 7-furlong affair. So I think the third 7-furlong race so far. You got 136 races, most of which won by speed. About a third of which went wire to wire. Pretty fair in terms of the post positions at the track there. And race number 7 is a maiden race, so we don't have our telestrator to tell us what the race shape might look out and what the horses might need to get the job done. So tell us about your selections in race 6 in this maiden race.
All right. Well, I like number 3, Call Me Jelly Roll. You know, she won 3 races in a row. So how can this be amazing?
This is a claiming. All right. This is a claiming 5,000. Why don't I have race number? So we're on race number 6. Why don't I have race number 6 on my thing here? I don't know.
I think
I do have race number 6. It's race number 7.
That's a maiden race. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. You know, it's the Monday morning blues. Let me run through this real quick, Terry. So okay. I got it up. Race 6, the 8 of Scratch was a horse that was a contender. The 3 horse has a plus advantage at the 4-furlong marker, meaning it should be about a length ahead when they get about a half a mile through the race. 2 horse and the 6 horse do bring in some late pace. All right, Terry, now I got my head back on straight thanks to you. Now, do I have my head straight on with the picks?
Yeah, I think so. Number 8, though, is Scratch. But anyway, number 3, Call Me Jelly Roll, is my first pick. She won 3 races in a row, then took an 8-month break, but has 2 bullet workouts in a row, which I think shows she's probably ready. Number 1, Lil Miss Hotspot. She won her last race at Penn National, has the highest last speed rating at today's distance, and her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. Then Sensational Dixie, which is number 6 horse, my third pick. She finished third versus similar in her last race, has the highest last speed fit rating, and the jockey in the last 7 days has won 50% of his starts. And number 2 is my fourth pick, Isabella Smile. She drops in class today. And the jockey in the last 7 days has had 13 starts, 4 wins, and 3/3.
All right, Terry. For me in race number 6, I like Call Me Jelly Roll as my top pick. Does have an early pace advantage at 4 furlongs. Hasn't been hasn't been on the track since November, but horse has got a ton of bullet workouts getting ready for this spot. If Call Me Jelly Roll is ready to go, Jelly Roll rolls. Number 2, Isabella Smile makes second start off a layoff. Drops in class for this spot. Terry was better when the gates opened from beginning to the middle to the end of the race in the first start off the bench. Record says she'll be better in round 2 and also secured the top late pace numbers in the field. Number 1, Little Miss Hot Shot. I'm really not the biggest fan of horses that ship in from Penn, but has run well at Parx and at the distance, been out 15 times, finished in the money in 8 of those 15. Then finally, number 6, Sensational Dixie. Showed some more effort in the first half of our last race. At times can run off the chart late pace numbers compared to the rest in here. If today is one of those days where the afterburners kick in the final quarter of a mile, Sensational Dixie could be tough to beat. And that also, Terry, is the end of the second pick 4 of the day, which is your hot dog pick 4. Tell us a little bit about your hot dog pick 4 thinking.
Well, I went with 3 horses in the first leg and 3 horses in the second leg, and then 2 horses in the third leg, 2 horses in the fourth. But, I think most of these races are wide open, so it's pretty tough. I think this is going to pay pretty well if you can get through it. So,
well, hopefully we can get through this one and other ones, Terry, right?
Yep.
I see what's going on here to Mr. Terry. I don't know why that was working like that. So at first I didn't have your best bet up on the screen. So my hot dog pick 4 is race 1. Terry's is in race 3. Hopefully we can cash both of them, Terry, which would be a nice thing to do.
Would be.
Indeed. So the next race, this is the race I was talking about, Terry, where we don't have a pace worksheet to look through, because race number 7 is the maiden special weight, $55,000 for a bunch of 2-year-old fillies, a lot of which don't have any racing history. So it doesn't really make sense to put up to guess what the pace might look like for these horses. And you just don't know what you're going to get with 2-year-olds, Terry. These are the box of chocolate races. When the gates open, you don't know what you're going to get. So what do you think we're going to get?
Well, number 4, Bruno Barber Girl. She finished second in her last race at Park Racing. She has a high percentage winning jockey who in the last 7 days has been in the money 7 out of 12 starts, 3 wins, 4 seconds. And her best start speed is fastest among today's starters that have started. Number 1, Linda's Loves Gold. It's my second choice. She's a first-time starter whose sire wins 27% of the time with first-time starters. That's pretty nice. And the dam has 1 winner from 3 starters. She has a trainer-jockey combination who in the last 14 days has won 50% of their starts. Then number 8 is my third pick, Maggie. She finished third versus similar in her only race, has the highest last speed rating, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. And then number 5, my fourth pick, Stone in Love. She is a first-time starter whose dam has 1 winner from 1 start. Her breeding suits today's distance, and she has a really good workout on July 27th.
So the Bruno Barber Girl, your first pick, I didn't go with it because the horse has run twice already, hasn't had a chance to win pretty similar races in the first 2 starts, got off to a decent start and faded at the end. Maybe today, the third race gets it done. Did run some better fractions last out, but I'm going to try to beat it, maybe get some prices. I think the 4 is likely to be the favorite. I'm going to go with Stone in Love. The workouts here were the most impressive to me in terms of the first-time starters. Maggie, in the debut race, did run a 4 furlong pace number that would likely put Maggie on the front, if not on the front, close to the front at a distance where speed does win. Number 9, Pachelabel, maybe, I don't know where they come up with these names, but anyway, was another first-time starter. I like the workouts on July 6th and July 13th. Those are some really good workouts. And then on either side of that were maintenance workouts. So 2 good workouts, maintenance workout, head to the track. Finally, number 1, Linda Loves Gold. As I mentioned, tough call over the 4-horse for me. But the 4 had 2 chances to get it done and hasn't won yet. So we're going to give the 1 horse a chance to get its first W in here in race number 7. Race 8 is a 6.5 furlong, $7,500 race, claiming $7,500, and at 6.5 furlongs so far, they have run 129 races, 77 of which were won by horses that like to be close to the pace. 40 of the 129 go wire to wire. You do get a little bit of a rail bonus, and everything else plays fair, and I'm not quite sure how that math works out. You figure if something gets a little bit of a bonus, something somewhere else has to get a little bit of a discount, but that's not how it works so far. Don't ask me. I just do the numbers. I just work here, Terry. So in race 8, we do return to a way the chart plays out. There was a horse in here that did have an advantage. That was the 3 horse. That advantage is gone because the horse is not in this race, Terry. So it makes it hard for it to have any advantage. Scratched out. The 5 horse is one of the horses in this field, probably about the only one that's really going to be in the position it wants to be in. And probably now is going to be the pace setter, which if the pace setter gets ahead of a horse that needs the lead to usually win, could discourage the 10. On the 9 horse down in here, this horse has a very strong late pace advantage. I only put 2 check marks in here, Terry, but if I remember correctly, it's really closer to 3 or 4. Only problem is sometimes it doesn't take advantage of that ability at the end. I don't know if it will today, but who do you think will take advantage of its ability today?
Well, I like number 2 as my first pick indirectly. He won his last race at Park Racing, and he has a trainer jockey combination who in the last 14 days have finished in the money 3 out of 3 starts with 2 wins. Now I like number 4, Screensaver. He drops in class today and has the highest speed figure at today's distance. My third pick's number 7, I'm Blaming You. He switches to a high percentage winning trainer, drops in class today, where the trainer wins 50% of the time when dropping a horse down 2+ classes. And this trainer jockey combination the last 14 days is perfect, 2 for 2. And then I like number 10 as my 4th pick, Crafty Jack. He ran second versus similar in his last race, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters.
For me, in race number 8, I'm going to start with the 5 horse, Brighthorn. This one is going down a multiple classes, flipping from turf to dirt. At Parx so far on the dirt's done okay. 8 times out, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. Also a fan of the distance, 4 times, 6.5 furlongs with a win, a place, and a show. Number 10, Crafty Jack, another horse that put up some better pace numbers from the beginning to the end, to the middle, the entirety of the race. That resulted in the top last race speed figure, but only slightly better fractions. Number 7, I'm Blaming You, Terry, which is what I always do. Dropping multiple classes, gets a new trainer, and the new trainer hits 4 out of 7 times when he puts a horse down 2 classes or more. Finally, number 9, Load Up Mo. As I mentioned, Load Up Mo has a load of late pace advantage over every other horse in this field. Let's see if today is the day that Load Up Mo can capitalize on that. Race number 9, Terry, that's your best bet of the day at Parx. But before we go to Parx, you also have a best bet of the day today. I believe it's at Thistledown. Is that correct?
Yes, I do. And it's at Thistledown. It's the 4th race.
And how did your picks do yesterday or over the weekend?
Okay, well, yesterday my top pick at Del Mar in the 2nd race, Laurel River, won that race and paid $320 to win. And the day before that was my top pick ran 2nd, paid $440 and $340. So didn't do great, but didn't do bad. So
all right. And anyway, then today?
Yeah, today I like number 2, Close to Me. He finished 3rd in his last race after hesitating at the start. And I watched that race, and he hesitated a lot. He broke way behind the rest of the field, and he came running at the end there to get 3rd. He likes the track and the distance. He's won 6 races at the track. So number 4, Little Matilda, she's my 2nd pick. He finished 3rd in his last race and likes the track, finishing in the money in 10 out of 13 races, winning 7 of those there. And then I like the entry, the 1A Gray Nay. Mm-hmm. He closed to win his last race at a mile and now stretches out to 1 mile and 70 yards. I think this is a distance he'll do all right because he's won there before.
And that's Terry's Thistledown best bet over today in race number 4. You can catch Terry's Thistledown best bet every single day at horseracingtoday.net. While you're there, do us a huge favor. Click on the HRT gear link and get yourself some Horse Racing Today gear to support the show. Got some nice hats with the saddle cloth numbers on there. You have, as we put in there, the new thing there Terry's getting in there. See you in the winner's circle. And then, of course, we have the Horse Racing Today logo. So we got a lot of really good stuff over there. Really good. This shirt's, I don't know how many months old now, hasn't faded. None of the print has come off yet. So I'm pretty happy with how they are. And they become really comfortable after about the second wash. Right, Terry?
That's right. Yeah, I love them. So,
and it's a great way to support the show, and we would appreciate your support. Another way to support the show is tell your friends about us. Subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Give us thumbs up so our ratios are positive. We appreciate all of that for certain. All right, so race number 9, Terry, is at Parx. It is 7 furlongs. This is an allowance $10,000 race, Terry. And the 7 furlongs, as we've mentioned before, 136 races, 100 of which were won by speed horses. 45 went wire to wire, mostly fair from the post positions and all that good stuff, Terry. As we look at the pace setup, our pace worksheet here, Terry, we did get a couple scratches with the 7 horse getting knocked out of the race. The 4 horse got knocked out of the race. This is another race that sets up to be pretty competitive in my view, Terry, because you see we have a lot of horses with boxes around them, meaning they should be well positioned on the track relative to where they've liked to win in the past. We got another left arrow horse with the 9 horse being a pressure closer that has the early pace ability to be towards the front if they go too slow, and has the late legs to get the job done if they go too fast. So that sort of versatility can work out pretty well. How do you see this race working out?
Yeah, I like the number 8 horse, and of course, that's my best bet of the day. Her name's Miss Dillingham, and she has won 6 races out of the last 9, finishing 3rd in her last race. She has the highest speed figure at today's distance and a trainer-jockey combination that's been in the money 9 out of 13 races, winning 4 of those, 4 seconds and a third in the last 14 days. And then number 2 is my second pick, Sweet Wilhelmina. She won her last race at Parx, drops off the win. The trainer she has a trainer who wins 83% of the time when dropping a horse off of a win, and her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. Then I like number 6, Flashing Diamond, is my third pick. She has won 2 races out of the last 4, winning her last race at Parx Racing, has a good 5 furlong workout on July 23rd. And then number 9 is my fourth pick, Love on Fire. That's the one with the arrow to the left. She has won 2 races out of the last 3 starts and switches to a high percentage winning jockey.
So I like the 3 8 horses as well. Miss Dillingham, 3rd off the break at Parx 17 times, managed to collect the top check in 8 of them. A couple of seconds, couple of thirds in there as well. 2 for 2 at the distance. And you got that super duo of Ruben Silveira, Jamie Ness, jockey trainer combination, hitting at 32%. And despite that high win rate, they still have a 96-cent ROI. So, I mean, it's almost break even, which is hard to believe considering the hit rate that those two have. Number 2, Sweet Wilhelmina at Parx out 11 times with 8 wins, a second and 2/3. Quick math says 8 + 1 + 3 is 11. 11 out of 11 times in the first 3 at Parx, mostly a winner. Dropping off of the win, which is interesting to me, trainer Scott Lake so far has won 5 of 6 when he drops off a win. Did run the top last race speed figure last time out. Fractions at 1 mile and 70 yards were the same as they were at 6 furlongs. 2 good works between races. And Frankie Pennington rides this horse instead of the 6 horse, which is Flashing Diamond, my third choice. Another that likes Parx, winning 7 times, 6 seconds and a third in 17 races. But I think the Frankie Pennington move to the 2 horse is telling to me that he thinks the 2 horse is better than the 6. And then finally, Love on Fire. It is a left arrow horse, Terry. I think this is one that could improve in her second start off a layoff, and we'll see what happens there. I think that 2 horse, Terry, is going to give the 8 horse all it can handle because of all of the pluses with that horse.
I agree with you. Yeah, I had a hard time deciding which one to be my best bet. So
race number 10, the final race on the card, is was supposed to be a 7.5 furlong turf affair, maiden claiming $30,000. Instead, it's been moved to 1 mile on the main track. I don't know why they did that today, because it's sunny and warm there. The track is fast. I don't think there's a threat of rain. And again, if we try to see what the pace setup might look like in race number 10, we did get a couple scratches in here that I think impacted the race. I thought the 2 horse would have a shot. The 8 horse, it looks to me like, is out. The 1 horse is out, which is another one I thought had a shot as one of the lone droppers in the field. The 3 horse is out. The 7 horse is out. We have a first-time starter with the lone first-time starter in the field. And here we have a horse, again, that does have a little bit of, well, the 5 is out too. It's main track only. Oh, no, the 5 is in because they are on the main track. Excuse me, yes. So let me undo that little mess I did right there. The 5 is in, but the 9 horse does have a little bit of a 2 furlong advantage. So at the quarter-mile marker, the 9 horse could be a length or so ahead of the rest of the field, Terry. If the 9 horse is a length ahead of the field, you don't necessarily think that one's going to win, do you, Terry?
I do, yeah.
You do? All right.
Yeah, the 9 is my first pick, Fancy Scepter.
All right.
She ran second versus similar in her last race, switches to a high percentage winning jockey, and she has the highest last speed rating. She tied with another one. The trainer wins 25% of the time when bringing a beaten favorite back to race again. And then I like number 10 as my second choice, Jackie Be Good. She finished second versus similar in her last race. She switches to a high percentage winning jockey, has the highest last speed rating, and a jockey who in the last 7 days has been in the money 7 out of 12 times. And then I like number 5, Schooner Will. She has a high percentage winning trainer, switches the highest percentage winning jockey, and she drops in class today to try to get a win. And the number 4, Freedom's Allure. She is a first-time starter whose breeding suggests she will like the grass, and the trainer in the last 14 days has won 2 out of 5 starts.
So number 10, Jackie Be Good, Terry, is the horse that was tied for the top last race speed figure last time out. That came as a result of the horse really showing better from the beginning to the end of the race. I think trainer Daniel Velasquez switching jockeys to Ruben Silvera tells me that Mr. Velasquez believes that Jackie Be Good is ready to win and wants to make sure he gets the best effort. Number 9, Fancy Scepter, has as I mentioned, a 2 furlong early pace edge. 2 of the 5 winners at the distance, at 1 mile on the dirt, that was on the turf. 81 races, 58 were won by speed, 22 of which went wire to wire. I think this one had the lead over the top pick last time out by 2.5 furlongs in the stretch. Just needs more stamina this time around to get the job done. I don't know that going extra half a furlong works to its favor or not, though. Number 4, Freedom's Allure, first-time starter with decent turf breeding, obviously not running on the turf today. Did have also some pretty good, decent pedigree numbers for the dirt as well. But I also feel like there's really not a whole lot to beat in here outside the 10 and the 9. And then the final pick for me today in the last race is the 6, Why Not Babe. There's a horse that did drop from maiden special weight to maiden claiming in the turf race last out. So this will be the first crack at the maiden claiming rank for the 6 horse on dirt. We'll see if it can show some improvement off of that turf race, Terry. And that also, that wraps up the card there, Terry. But it also brings up a bunch of races at the end. So we have our pick Philly 5s. They look like this. Terry's going $96, putting all of his ticket basically on the 3 horse in race number 6. I'm going to go a little bit different, because if the 3 horse isn't ready to run off of that long break, got to have somebody to back it up as a back spot. So I went with the 2. And then Terry didn't make any changes to his late pick 4, just took the 3 out, left everything else the same. My late pick 4 looks a little bit different. 5 horses by 3 by 3 by 4. That works out to be $90.96 for me. And if you're going to bet today, Terry, later on at Prairie Meadows, do us a big favor, please head on over to Horse Racing and to Guaranteed Tip Sheet. Again, there's a link down in the description, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Also, plenty of links over at horseracingtoday.net. You'll see that Prairie Meadows today is the free track of the day. First race being the 4 horse RNC Card Shark Jones. Doesn't sound like a guy you want to play cards with, but it is our pick for the click in the first race at Prairie Meadows, Terry.
And that's a quarter horse race, 870 yards, which in quarter horse racing, that's my favorite distance.
Good luck to you as well, Charles, today. I also I don't think she's going to need it, Terry, but I'm also going to wish you good luck today to Jamie Martinez. She's going to take over today as the host of Horse Center with Sean. So that should be a lot of fun. Jamie is certainly very talented, has, I think, some good insights into the horse racing world, being that she's been a jockey, been in the horse racing, an owner, a trainer. She's been all across the business, married to Willie Martinez, a jockey, knows the horse racing life and scene inside out, upside and down. She and Sean will absolutely put on a fantastic show Monday through Wednesday. To make sure you don't miss Jamie and Sean, subscribe to YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Our Sean will let you know when it's going to go live every Monday through Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. You're not going to want to miss Jamie making her debut. I'm sure the show is going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Me too. I'm very excited about it. So,
as well. Hello, Lolo. How are you today, my friend? Hopefully all things are well where you are. And the first race is about 1 minute away from going, Terry. Again, our full card picks look like this at Parx. Let me pull them up on the screen. Come on. There you go. For me, my best bet is in race number 1 with the 4. It is also the beginning of my hot dog pick 4, so you better act quick. 4 over to 267, 921, 293, and 6. Terry's going to do race number 3 for the beginning of his hot dog pick 4. Our box it ups are race 4 and 5 in the middle of the card. $1 exacta box, 50-cent trifecta box, 10-cent superfecta box. Our Philly 5 starting in race number 6. Our prime rib pick 4 starting in race number 7. And then Terry's best bet is in race number 9. My best bet is in race number 5. And we both picked race number 3 as our long shot duel of the day, Terry.
That's right. And actually, I'm going to correct you. Your best bet's in the race number 1, the number 4 horse.
What should I say?
You said the number 5, fifth race.
So. Oh, no, I'm sorry about that. It's my box it up.
And your best bet, number 4, looks like everybody thinks it is because it's 2 to 5. People listen to us and listen to you, and you're such a good handicapper. They went and put lots of money on that number 4. Oh,
I think they went and mortgaged their homes, and in about a minute and 11 seconds, they're going to regret it. A lot of these horses lately for me that have been going off at like 2 to 5 have not been coming through. So
they haven't. No,
I just felt like this horse had such a huge advantage over everybody else in terms of its early pace. I think you're going to see it get out to a pretty substantial lead and make it very difficult for everybody else to catch him. So let's see how this first race. I think they're all loaded now, Terry. Just waiting for the starter to give him the, looks like there's 1 horse left to go in.
This is the type race where I'd go 4 all and all 4. So,
that's now down to 1 to 5, Terry. But it was a 2 to 1 morning line. So let's see. And come on, open the gates now. Let's go. And they're off. And as expected, the 4 horse got an easy lead, Terry. Not even working right now. The 1 horse, the jockey on the 1 horse is really kind of, trying to get the horse to go with the 4. So far, they're probably about to go on to the turn here. They haven't put the open and quarter up. Right now, it looks like the 4 with the 1 running in second. The 3 horses on the rail trying to make a little bit of a move up the rail. 4 horse ended up going 2 to 5. So right now, going into the turn after running the opening quarter in 23 and 1, which is kind of slow for 5.5 furlongs, Terry.
It is.
The 4 horse is on the lead pretty easily. The 1 horse is ranging up on the outside. The 8 horse is starting to make its move. The jockey on the 4 horse, Michael Sanchez, is looking behind him to see what's coming. Just came through the turn. The 4 horse has got a pretty comfortable lead right now. It looks like about 1 length. There is a horse on the outside making a really strong move. It looks to me like that's the 5 horse.
Yep.
But they're running out of room as they head to the wire. It looks like a 4 is an easy winner here today, Terry, though he is starting to shorten stride, slow down a little bit. I think that's more letting off the gas. 4, 5, and 8, I think, is the opening order. So my 4 horse did come through to kick off that early pick 4. So hopefully I can catch some prices in the second half of that.
See, now I would have went 4 all, so I would have had that exacta. So
indeed. So any final thoughts before we get out of here this Monday, Terry?
Yeah, just make sure you tell everybody that's important in your life how you feel about them and that you love them as long as it's positive.
Hmm.
Have a good positive week. I'm really getting excited about next week. We're going to all go to Saratoga, and other than that, just be careful. And if you're betting this week or anything you do in life this week, I hope you are very lucky and positive returns.
Yes, we only have so many seconds in every day, so make sure you make every single one of them count. Again, tonight, please join Sean and Jamie for the Horse Center show. It'll be a fantastic show. I'm certain of that. Then Terry and I will be back tomorrow to do Colonial Downs at the same time. On Wednesday, we'll do Saratoga. Thursday, we'll do Del Mar. And that'll wrap it up. Tom and I will be back for 4 and Friday. On Friday, after having a really strong, glorious Goodwood, I closed out Saturday with a 25-1 winner, which was a nice winner for me. On top, too. Top pick, Terry.
Wow.
So I was pretty happy about that. So hopefully we can continue that strength in our 4 and Friday show. Saturday, our Eddie C and Chris P will return for spot plays. And as Terry said, next week we're going to be over at Saratoga, and we're going to have a raffle if you're at Saratoga to join us for lunch, at least one of those days. So, and the lunch will be on us. So make sure you stay tuned for all of that on our social sites at Horse Race, the number 2 day, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. While you're here on YouTube, subscribe, thumbs up. We appreciate that. No matter what you do today with those seconds, we hope you make them count, and we hope that they end up in the
winner circle.
Absolutely. Have a fantastic Monday. We'll see you tomorrow.